We just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without exception. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hello there. Hello there. It's me again. Anyway, it's history tonight. Football tomorrow. Obviously. Watch along. You do know watch along tomorrow. And I just want to thank these people for sponsoring all the podcasts. Every single one of them. Gap painting services. Please get them in. They're fully time served, fully insured, dead reasonable, and especially if you're an NHS worker or elderly couple or even an elderly, single person, get them in. Don't struggle. Please don't struggle. I know what it's like. If you struggle, get them in. They're brilliant people. They're in and out. They leave your house pristine. And you'll be absolutely delighted what they do. Get them in. Gap Painting Services. Wonderful people. And if you're sorry about that. I'm awfully sorry about that. Everything's come out on me again. I can't believe what's happening to me. I can't believe it. I've got some fella with me tonight. You might think it's Anthony. It's not. Anthony's not with me. He doesn't want to come on here anymore. For some reason, I don't know. He sent me a message. He says, I don't want to go on with you anymore, Frank. So I said, okay. I said, why? He's training. He wants to be the oldest astronaut. He's doing some balloon jumps as well, so, good luck to Anthony. Wonderful man. Great artist. I think he wants to paint Liverpool, from above. Like what we've shown before from the balloon, what that French fella did. I think he got a bit jealous, to be honest. So that's why he wants to be an astronaut and a balloonist. It's the way it goes. The way it goes. And Johan, good evening, Frank and legends. Hope everyone is well. Smash the likes on the way in. Isn't that lovely? Thank you. Thank you, Johan. No one seems to do. Really, honestly, no one's. I can't be bothered. Smashing a like for him. No chance. But thank you, Johan. I'm going to bring this fella in now. It's a bloody nuisance. No, he isn't. Oh, yeah, it's chasing him before the break. I'm going with him to make a clear. Jason said, I'm going with him, on the balloon jumps. To clean his brushes. And Jason up in a big balloon while he's painting, he's cleaning the brushes. They're only going up on their own. No one wants to bring them down. Someone will be down there with a little popcorn. Boop. Yeah, you're down now, boys. Good evening, Frank. Are you on your happy hour? It depends. It depends, George. It depends. There's me happy hour now, and there he is, the great man himself, Anthony. Hey, Anthony.
Oh, I did that job, Frank. Tell you what, I got up as far as the top of the stairs and thought, oh, I'm like, I hate heights. I'm not doing that.
You're not going nowhere near the ozone layer then, no.
I've left our Jason up there with my brushes.
That's what I mean, it just shows you, doesn't it, what his sense of humour is. I didn't even know he was there, he's a sly boots, isn't he? And George said, good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, George. Good evening, one and all, our gang.
Oh, that's lovely. Good evening, Frank says George. Well, go on.
I was just going to say to George, it's happy hour every hour. Every hour.
Happy hour every hour. Ah, Toscana. Ciao, Franco. Evening, everyone. Hello, Anthony. I thought Franco had lost the plot.
No, he's not. We do realm into the world of the unknown occasionally, and then we wake up. Normally we're all right after that.
And Stefan says, are you really considering to put Tony in a balloon over the pool? Weight the balloon with whiskey pottery pots at least. Yeah, that's your weight. Problem solved.
Well, not exactly, because it'll come out of the potters into a glass into me, and then the weight should stabilise. Just, I might not be allowed to go for a wee for 6 weeks.
And Johan says, good evening, intergalactic artist, Mr. Brown.
Nano, Johan. Good evening, Mr. Kindness.
And Jason, Anthony parachuted out over the Wirral. I can only get phone signal when I pass a satellite.
Oh.
Oh, lovely, Lynn. Evening, Frank and Anthony in chat.
Good evening, Lynn.
And Bella. Ciao, Franco and Anthony and everyone. Bella.
Evening, lovely. Bella. Hope you're
great. She hasn't been too good,
Bella?
She was in hospital last week.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
But she's, getting there. She's getting better, which is a good thing.
Yeah. We need you better and well and with us.
Needs us all better, don't we, to be honest?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the moment, Frank, with everyone. I know that COVID thing is doing its round, but...
And if you remember this, Stefan says, make sure Tony doesn't drift over to the USA. They can be funny with balloons. Do you ever remember the Chinese balloon? Oh.
They've got one as a president.
Absolutely amazing. Really amazing. Anyway, let's get cracking. Let's get cracking, eh? On this wonderful thing. Stephen Mulholland, my old mate. Mulholland's. Hi, everyone. Hiya, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Stephen is one of the lads, who I've known years, and he knows what's happening, around the world. He just knows. He's got the same political outlook as we do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he knows the score. He really does about everything, more or less. He's such a nice person as well. He really is such a nice person. And he went to Cuba a few years ago. Wow. And I said, you should have asked me. I wasn't going with you. Wow. But I can't go across the road today, never mind. To Cuba. I'd love to go to Cuba,
Yeah,
You know, see how it is.
I've loved to watch the footage of Cuba over the years, and I love the fact that they've still got the historic, and it's not obviously due to the warfare kind of with America. It's not been glamorized into glass buildings, and it
Well,
looks.
that's why. That's why. Because if America would have still been there, they would have had skyscrapers, as you know.
Yes,
They would have had like a Las Vegas type city.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They would have destroyed Cuba, but they've retained all the old architecture. Some of it's fallen down, unfortunately, because of the sanctions.
yeah.
But the people are so friendly. So
Mm.
friendly. Argierity went there. I forget who went there. And the waiter came up to him, and he was on a beach. And the waiter came up to him. He said, "Yeah, give him his drinks, what he orders." And he went off again. Then he came over again with more drinks, what he ordered. So
Yeah.
anyway, that night he went into a bar in the town sort of thing, and there's the waiter. And you know what? He got talking to him, and after a few days, he kept on bumping to this fella. And you know what he was? He was a surgeon. He was a
Wow.
surgeon, and he was working. Was waiting and barman, and it's just crazy. That's how bad the
Wow.
sanctions were. Anyway, let's see what the people have been saying. Ambidextrous. Good evening, Frank, Anthony, and everyone in the chat.
Good evening, ambidextrous.
Good evening, Ambi. Good to see you. Really is. Really is. You're a good girl. And good evening, everyone, says Freedom J.
Good
Remember
evening.
last week, this fella came on called Freedom something, I forget what it was. And
I
he was
know.
very nasty. He was nasty, and I was having mate. I said, what's the change over him? But, and someone come on and went, it's not Freedom Jenny, it's some other one.
Yeah,
Blimey. See what I mean about names
yeah,
and name calling? Name calling. I want to put up something, Anthony.
yeah.
And this is it's a it's a it's a it's the old corn exchange.
Okay.
Now the corn exchange, that's where a lot of money was made, through trade.
Trading.
People
Yeah,
don't realise that, the corn coming in, then we give it out to the country, and that's how trade works,
yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Now, the beauty of that is, there's still part of it still there, and now it's become a pub. It's become a pub, and it's just behind some lovely buildings, by the way, which coincides with our heritage. Not new buildings, obviously. And one of the buildings, I'd love to show you it, was where it was a mansion actually, and it's where Lady Hamilton, Emma Hamilton, used to meet um, Nelson.
Wow.
To understand little meetings they used to have. So they used to meet there, but the Corn Exchange pub is behind there now. And in the pub, if you're ever down there, they've got brilliant artifacts of, old ships like mirrors and things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure one of them is off the Franconia. It's absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful. Well done to the people who've got it then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's other things as well. Off ships in that pub, the Corn Exchange. And Steppen says, learned to smoke cigars with a reporter who was already 80. He used to smoke with Castro during the revolution.
Wow.
Tip the tip in rum before smoking. That was the tip of the fella. Isn't that strange? He used to smoke a cigar, not Steppen, but the fella he met with Fidel Castro. That's incredible.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible.
Tip of tonight then.
Daniela, his wife, says, good evening, Frank and Anthony. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Toscana. Bella Italia. Buonasera, ragazzi. That means good evening, girls. In
Good evening, Angela.
Sounds better than Italian, doesn't it? Sounds better than Italian. Ciao, Daniela, says Bella. The lovely ambidextrous. Hope you're all feeling better, says to Toscana.
Yeah.
And to Bella Italia. Oh, she's lovely, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous lady. They're all good on here. Absolutely brilliant. I want to show something else here. So, if you ever go down to Fenwick Street, it's just behind the Corn Exchange pub. It's called the Corn Exchange. You can't miss it. And just go in and have a nice little drink, and it's absolutely brilliant, very authentic and ornate.
Wow.
Now, that's the Blue Coat Chambers.
Yeah.
Now, when the Blue Coat Chambers was built, Anthony, you've got to take into consideration why it was called the Blue Coat, because we had an army and we were known as the Blue Coats. The Blue Coats, you know, you could only have private armies back in the day, you know what I mean. Private armies, you know, if a town was big enough to have an army, we had one, and they were called the Blue Coats, and that's where the headquarters was in there. But it was also a school. It was a school. Beautiful, beautiful building. Absolutely incredible. And when they were doing Liverpool 1, I said to it, remember Rod, you know Rod very well, and I said to Rod, they're not going into they're not, he said, no, don't be worrying, they're not doing anything inside or any. I said, because it's grade 1 listed, it's a Queen Anne building. He says, yeah, I know. He said, don't worry, Frank. Do not worry. He said, they're not going to do anything, you know, and spoil the decor or anything like that. So I was absolutely delighted with that. He said, the only thing that they're going to change is the garden area. Now, I love the garden area because I used to go in, you know, just off the street and go in and have a cup of tea or something in the little garden settings. And I thought, oh, it's going to be full of concrete and everything. But they've done a good job.
They have, yeah.
Done a very good job about the garden area as well. So I was absolutely delighted.
It's a beautiful, peaceful place, isn't it? Because even though there's traffic hammering all around it on the different streets, you go in that garden, sit down with a cup of tea, you don't hear anything. Just really beautiful. I designed a logo for something for them around that time, and met one of the. We talk a lot about people who give back to Liverpool, and this was George Davis, you know, from the Asda.
Yeah.
George clothes and stuff. He was on a board, I think, at the Blue Coat, and for some, you know, the weirdness of our life anyway, that we meet all different people for different reasons, and I did a logo, I met him and stuff, and it was nice. And I loved the space. And he said to me, you want to consider getting a studio there, because you have art studios. And some renowned exhibitions across history. But never happened.
No.
Never though. But still going strong, and I'm glad. And we will get in there for a cup of tea.
Yeah, we will. And we, of course, you see, it's a strange one, the blue coat, because there was a fella named Nicholas Blundell,
Yeah,
and he was what you call a land pirate.
yeah,
Now, this land pirate, what he used to do, he used to, him and his little crew, or his little mates, used to get in a rowboat and row over to Fort Perch Rock. Well, Fort Perch Rock, the fort wasn't built, but the rocks were there, obviously.
yeah.
And anyway, he gets over there, and they used to light the lamps to guide ships in down the Mersey, because there was hardly, there was no lights or anything. It was pitch black back in the day. Pitch black. Going down the Mersey. So anyway, they used to, get the lamps out and shake them and, come this way, ho there, And they used to go their near lenses up on the rocks. And what had happened, they just claimed they were scavengers, in other words. They were scavengers. So when the ship broke up, they went in and just stole everything. Just stole everything off the ship, put it back in a couple of little boats and sailed over, rowed over to where we are. And there used to be a tunnel that led from the, well, we call it the landing stage today. And it used to be right up to the town hall. And all that ill-gotten goods was sold on to dignitaries, the likes of wine, the likes of brandy. So that was Nicholas Blundell. He was what you call a land pirate. He was a land pirate, not an open pirate on the seas, but on land. That's what he did. That's how he made his money.
On a horror.
And he lived in Crosby. So we bought land off Crosby. He said, "Can I buy this?" And he says, "Yeah, all right." So bought it. Hence Blundell Sands.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
But his grandson, he was a tobacco merchant. And he built Blue Coat. He put all the money in and built Blue Coat. He wasn't, people tried to say he was in slavery, and he wasn't. He had nothing to do with, it's all to do with slavery. He was just a tobacco merchant.
And that was his grandson
That was his grandson.
who built this, what we're looking at.
Wonderful thing, yeah.
That's beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And good
Yes.
on it.
Yeah. And I think it was rather a sort of, shall we say, compensation for what Nicholas Blundell did.
An apology.
Yeah.
Of nuts.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a shame though, isn't it, really? It's a shame.
I'm thinking of all those countless sailors that would have been on the boats. They wouldn't have survived the wrecking.
And Jason says only a Scouser could be a pirate without owning a boat.
Yeah.
I think you're right there, Jay.
Yeah.
And Stefan says, if you look below the window on the right of the illustration, you will see where Early carved their names in the stonework. Yeah, there's a few things like that here, actually. Our Empire Theatre has numbers carved into the stone. And Empire Theatre.
That's beautiful. And I love the fact that it's still beautiful and we can all still go there.
And Stephen says every floor in the old Polytechnic school is beautifully tiled, and the same with the Cotton Exchange. I did my union education in the Cotton Exchange. Yeah, I just see what I mean about what kind of heritage the Cotton Exchange was, and that's where he did his education. Stephen,
Fantastic, Steve.
I think it's great, when you've got a little story behind different things to be on.
It brings it to life.
Yeah, of course it does.
Makes it all the more real, rather than flicking through pages of a book that means nothing to you. So I'm intrigued by the army that we had.
Yeah.
It's a legacy from the castle days.
Well, the legacy from the castle days, it's a shame that we didn't keep it, because we could have kept it. Especially southern England and North Wales, by the way, they kept their castles. And we got shut of ours, as usual. Let's get shut of it. And yet there was preservationists who were saying, don't pull it down. Please don't pull it down. But they wanted to build a church, and they built the church, unfortunately. Knocking this thing down here.
Could have had both.
Stephen says, I meant early pupils, kids being kids during the break in the. Yeah, you mean putting their names? Yeah, we all did it at our little schools as well. And Stephen says, Steve and Paul McCartney's dads worked at the Cotton Exchange. There you go. There you go. See, Paul McCartney's dad.
Yeah.
His mother was a district nurse, wasn't she?
She was a midwife, yeah.
Midwife, yeah.
Yeah. This is one of my absolute. I mean, we're blessed that he's one of us, but as a hero in any country, any land, anywhere in the world, there's none finer than him.
Well, you never mentioned who it was. These are not going to know who he is.
This is Mr. William Roscoe, hero in these here parts.
One of the greatest. Well, they say that he was the greatest Liverpoolian that ever lived. Even better than no one will be better than him, even in the future, than this man.
And if we were to do a poll with our lovely gang, our lovely chat, I am sure if he's not in the top 5, he would certainly be in the top 10 of everyone's.
Yes, of course, because what that man brought to Liverpool and what he gave to Liverpool is unprecedented. It really is. We've got great engineers, we've got great artists, we've got great everything. But this man and what he gave to Liverpool and the heart and soul of him.
Yeah.
He was against dehumanization.
Yes.
He loved ordinary people. He loved life. He loved the human beings.
He loved wildlife. He loved animal life, wildlife.
Oh yeah.
He started out as a lawyer on the very, very bottom of his rung, and he just excelled in everything he did. And a man of honor at every level. Just amazing. An author, a poet, a translator.
Yeah. When he went to Italy, he seen the finery of Italy, and he seen how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
And he brought all the art over. He brought the Italian culture over, all the fine arts, everything.
Yeah.
And he all he wanted to show was the Liverpool people.
Yeah.
He said, look what. Because there was nothing back in the day. There was no social media. There was nothing at all. You know, it's what you just had in front of you then. You're talking like 1790 or whatever. There was nothing there in front of you. The only things that you looked at were paintings. And most of the paintings, you know, we never seen any paintings. There was no art galleries then or anything. So we knew nothing. And yet that man brought over the Italian arts, the Italian culture. He's saying, "Here, look what another European country does."
Yeah.
And people were amazed, absolutely amazed. And that never stopped him there, because what he also did in 1801, as he was fighting the slave trade, he brought over exotic plants because he wanted the people of Liverpool to see instead of just looking at grass and daffodils,
Yeah.
he wanted to show them what other plants grew around the world. And he opened up a botanical gardens and showing all these wonderful plants.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of a man he was. And he was fighting.
He wanted it down in a book so that people could recognize the plants and also know history of where they came from, what country they came from. And he had, I think it was 5 sons and 3 daughters, something like that.
Yeah.
One of his daughter-in-laws Margaret became an illustrator to illustrate his botanical books. And the whole thing was like a family of just totally creative. From what I read, he also transcribed a lot of Italian literature.
Yeah, he did. That's what I mean. He brought the arts over.
Yeah.
He brought the arts over. And, you know, to think that a man at the time was fighting against the dehumanization of a race of people. And they were the slaves.
Yeah.
That was slavery.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get it abolished.
Yeah.
And he went to Parliament. He actually became an MP. Just for 1 year, he became an MP. And why he became an MP was to stand up in Parliament and say what a savage thing and brutal thing slavery was. To pick a person out, a human being, fellow human being, deconstruct them, in other words, dehumanize them as a subspecies, brand them, and put them to work in a far off different country, away from his country and family.
Yeah.
That's what he was fighting against, as he was doing this for Liverpool. And he finally won. He was only an MP for a year because it frightened him. Because people really thought these are just ordinary people. And they really thought that with him trying to stop the slave trade, it would affect their work. It would just affect their work. And everybody, even today, are terrified of losing their jobs. So they fought tooth and nail to stop the likes of Roscoe and Rathbone and Curry and these other people who wanted to stop the slave trade. And so they seen him in the town, and they picked him up on the and just carried him to the Mersey and threw him in, and he couldn't swim, and they nearly killed him. Anyway, he survived that, and he said, and he just resigned being an MP. But they finally won in 1807 when the slave trade was abolished.
Yeah. It's absolutely unbelievable and remarkable that he would take that fight on his own shoulders. I remember reading that there was one particular, I'm not going to, if I could remember all of his name, I'm not going to name him, but he was a Roman Catholic. He's a Catholic priest.
And he changed his thing to Reverend Alice.
And he was opposed to everything Roscoe would put forward.
Yeah, but he had to change his religion. He stopped being a Catholic priest, and he became Reverend Alice.
Right.
And
he was in the pockets of the big businessmen.
Of course he was. They all were. It's just like today. It's like the economic wars that are going on today, because that's what's it's not different really. When we do literature and the history of literature, it's a full circle and nothing changes. So therefore, the likes of what's going on today, what was going on then, it's just the same. It's just the same. Money, greed, economics. Simple as that.
Yeah. 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 We love you, Mr. Roscoe.
Yeah, great man. Great man. He gave us everything.
Yeah.
He was a human being, in other words. But so was William Rathbone.
Yes.
The Rathbone family.
Yeah.
They were unbelievable people.
Yeah.
And they fought against the slavers as well.
Yeah.
They were abolitionists.
Yeah. Wow. Doesn't he have a kindly face?
Yeah, he does actually. He does. As I said, these people fought for Liverpool, fought for the good name of Liverpool. But with the annals of history, the name seems to disappear by people who just still think, I'm not getting into it, about slaves. And their name means nothing, or their names mean nothing. Now, who's one of the most famous Rathbones, don't you?
Yes. Are we talking the thespian?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Thespian.
Watched them last night. Yeah.
So did I. So did I.
The Baskervilles.
Yeah, the Hounds of the Baskervilles. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
But he was the perfect Sherlock Holmes.
He was, absolutely.
Perfect.
He was.
Perfect Sherlock.
Lainey and I were talking, and who would you pick today that looked like Basil Rathbone?
I always look at. I was only talking about this fella last week to someone. I forget who it was. As I forget a lot of things now. And talking about Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes, and things. I don't know whether I was talking to you or what. But anyway, the only fella who I think looked like him, and he couldn't have him as Sherlock Holmes, and the same fella, he couldn't have him as James Bond at the time. Do you know who that was?
No.
Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett?
Rupert Everett, because, Rupert was gay. And they said, we can't have Sherlock Holmes being a gay man. And, they wanted him when he was a lot younger. He had the looks, he had the height, he had the hair, he has everything.
Chiseled face. Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, we can't have him as Bond.
Oh.
Because he was nominated. Let's get him in. Look at him, fine specimen. But unfortunately, couldn't have him. And that's how bad it was during the day.
Yeah.
Yes, so he was one of the greats. And he was also Basil Rathbone. My little thingy's gone. No, there it is. He was also a war hero.
Yeah.
And he was a great friend with one of the greatest of all VC holders.
Yeah.
And that was Noel Chavas.
Yeah. 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 Basil served with the Liverpool Scottish, didn't he?
He did.
Was he a medical, was he a doctor or
Surgeon.
surgeon?
He worked at the Royal Southern Hospital. The Royal Southern Hospital he worked. His dad was the second Anglican bishop of Liverpool. His name was Francis. And he has a twin brother. He has another brother and another brother. He has an elder brother and a younger brother. And he had twin sisters and another sister. And the three lads, or the four lads, I'm sorry, they joined the army.
Yeah.
His twin Christopher, he joined the army. Bernard joined the army. And young Adrian, he was the youngest, he joined the army. And when I brought my students over to see the World War I graves in France and Belgium, I went to Menin Gate. Now, as I was looking around Menin Gate, I was going, wow, look at this. And I was looking for Chavas, because the people on Menin Gate all died in battle. They died there, not the ones who got back and lived. Anyway, I got Adrian, his name, because he died over there, the youngest of the Chavas family. His two sisters, twin sisters, were over there on the front line as nurses. His other sister, she was married to a vicar and had 3 children. And what she was doing, she was knitting woolies for the lads, for the winter.
Yeah.
And collecting their food parcels and sending them over. Everyone's there. Every member of the Chavas family helped with the war effort.
Yeah.
You see, so, but anyway, the likes of Basil Rathbone was a great friend of Noel because they were in the same regiment, the Liverpool Scottish. And they used to play pranks on each other. And used to have a laugh. You don't blame them for having a laugh because of what was going on.
Yeah.
He should have had a VC, actually, Basil Rathbone, because he was mentioned in dispatches a few times.
Yeah.
And they really thought that he would have been a Victoria Cross holder. For some reason, he didn't get it. One of the great hero of Liverpool Scottish.
Yeah.
Basil Rathbone. And Johan says, what a horrible mindset to have when you prioritise profit over humanity. Oh, then again, is it any different today? No different today, Johan. But it's always been like that. Everything right through time. Right through. You've only got to go to the Middle Ages and see what was going on then. Then the medieval period. It was shocking.
The likes
And
of
it was always greed.
I since you put me onto it a few years ago, and I've watched various TV movies, and his name keeps popping up, Robert Cecil. So
Oh,
that, to me, is tantamount to if I'm watching a film or a documentary or anything about a bad person, is a Robert Cecil.
Robert Cecil, I'm telling you now, would be portrayed as a big political hero of England. I'm telling you now, I've seen a couple of documentaries about him and nothing about. See, every time the gunpowder plot is mentioned, every time they always have these plotters trying to blow up the good king and the parliamentarians of Parliament, but they never, ever, ever mention about the subplot, what Cecil did. He was horrible, a horrible man,
Yeah,
Cecil, Robert Cecil. So was his dad. His
yeah.
dad, he took over his dad, whose dad took over, Walsingham when he passed on. And Walsingham was a ruthless person.
Well,
Every
that's
one of them were ruthless, those three people. Ruthless.
because that role that they all took on is still there today, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah. Nothing changes.
Names have changed.
Yeah.
That position hasn't. Scriptwriter to the Royals.
Yeah. I was listening to, I forget who was that Rachel Reeves. What an awful woman she is in the British government today. And she reminds me of Robert Cecil there. A Cecil sort of person. That's Rachel Reeves.
Yeah.
Oh, Stephen says Roscoe was also a historian. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But
Well,
now we have Frank Carlyle.
yeah.
That's
Roscoe and
it.
Frank Carlyle, I would put in the same team. Both centre forwards.
Do you know
Both.
what? That's a lovely compliment. That. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Anthony. It just shows you, though, doesn't it? Like the way we look at each other, we look at people, but the background to them.
Yes.
And he was one, we're talking some of the greatest philanthropists
Yes.
of Liverpool.
Yes.
Some of the greatest. But they've also, like as Johan said, he has a human soul. He
Yeah.
cares about humanity.
Yeah.
And it's just like all us on here. We care about humanity. We care about what's going on in one part of the world, especially where everything is being denied by everybody.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Starmer today where he said, Macron, where he said, I'm looking at Palestine as a state, as a country, which is good, don't get me wrong, which is good. And then the reporter said to him, but what about the genocide? He said, I don't think it's genocide. And see the way they double down on things. They backtrack.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, yes, it is genocide. We can see it.
We can see it, yeah. Day in, day out. The deaths of those poor people. And it's like, it's non-committal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's because I don't want to upset anyone. So, you know.
I know. See, I was watching. I was watching the other day, Anthony. I don't know whether I told you. A little girl. I'm always seeing these little girls, and she has it like a little thing on her back that she was carrying. About 4, 5, and she was carrying things. And this fellow went out, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm collecting nylon." He said, "What for?" She said, "For a fire. My parents have told me to go out and..." I wish someone had seen it. Her name was Shaboob or something like that. He said, "Well, what's your name?" She said, "Shaboob." I think it was Shaboob. And he said, "Have you eaten?" And she said, "No." He said, "You haven't eaten at all?" She said, "No." And she still got this thing over her shoulder. And he got this big thing of rice, tub of rice, in tin foil. And he said, "Would you like that?" And she went, "Yes, yes, please." And gave him a big smile, and she has one tooth missing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A typical beautiful little child, dirty as well, out collecting, because she was collecting for the parents. He was scared to go out in case he was sniped.
Yeah.
She never said sniper, but in case they were killed, so obviously it'd be snipers, wouldn't it? Who'd shoot them. And she took it off him, and he said, "Would you like a spoon?" And she just went, "It's all right." Eating it with her hands, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No,
that would be the first thing she had. Anthony, go on, I'm sorry. It makes me so sad
yeah.
when I see things like that. And then I can't wait for this film coming out. I don't know whether it's a film or a documentary about a beautiful little girl named Hind. I think she had 350 odd bullets in it. Think about that. Or 500. I think it was 350 odd bullets in it. A little girl. I think she was 6 years of age, called Hind. 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 And all of, a family were killed in this car. Killed in the car.
Yeah.
And the IDF, she was shouting for help. Help. And they pumped, let's say, 550 odd bullets in it. They just pumped. Never stopped shooting. Machine guns. And if that's not genocide,
That's genocide.
I don't know what is.
That's pure, brutal genocide. Hell is not big enough for that. And
I
then,
know. But, there was another little girl, and I keep saying this beautiful, beautiful little girl, and she was just aimlessly walking down the roads. She was in a world of her own. And I reckon that she's just because she was full of like debris, dust. Just white dust and dirt, and she was just walking down the road aimlessly. And she had this little princess dress on from Frozen. Someone must have put it on, or she could have been at a party and the fucking home was blown up and everybody killed. We just don't know what happened to that child. And she was walking down. And she was beautiful. A beautiful looking child. She must be 4 or 5 years of age. And I was watching George Galloway one night. And I said, I just put a comment on, and I said, has anybody heard of that? She was nicknamed the princess because she was in the princess Frozen dress. And I said, has anybody heard about that young princess? The young princess? And George said, she's dead. Dead.
Okay, now. Jesus.
And, so... And I was listening to some fucking American today at the UN, a woman, and she vetoed, everything. 2 countries, vetoed, or 1 country, and it was the Americans, and she gave a terrible excuse. It's the famous, they have a right to defend themselves. What you get is these other people who have got no arms, no nothing, who are queuing up being starved to death, living in fucking tents. Have they got a right to defend themselves? Because they've got no weapons.
No.
Yet they're being bombed.
Has that little girl got a right to defend herself? Of course. Because there should not be that bombardment of evilness.
No. And I was listening to this other one, a horrible woman, and she was saying, was it a fella? Forget who it was. I've been listening to so many. I'm only talking the last 48 hours. And it's still going on about babies' heads and whatever. And I went, that's all been debunked. It's been debunked about babies' heads and incinerators and being incinerated. It's all been debunked.
Yeah. But then this is where it goes back to the Cecils. It's in a script.
Of course.
Frank, I've got my copy of the script. You've got yours. We'll stick to that. And to be honest, Frank, if I'm watching TV and an American voice comes on, I turn the fucking thing off.
Yeah. Don't blame you, Anthony. I can't stand that von der Leyen. And she's got a beautiful name. Ursula von der Leyen. She is fucking lying all the time. She's just a liar. And they've never said once, not one has said, Anthony, about genocide. Not one.
No.
Genocide is being committed, and these are by all our European leaders. There's only Orban and now Giorgia Meloni, because they want money for that fucking Zelensky and Orban of Hungary and Fico of Slovakia. And Giorgia Meloni just said no, which is to put the whole of the EU in turmoil. And we're going for a break. I'm sorry. Many people walk through these portals, and what they don't notice is the figure of Neptune and the hands gently resting on 2 little African boys, and the boys hold money. But what does it really depict? What you have on the top is a locust, and locusts are known for famine and disease. They destroy crops. Underneath you have the 2 dolphins, and they're circled. Underneath them you have Neptune himself. But this is a Christ-like figure with a halo. You can see the 2 boys holding a bag each. What does it represent? It represents money and corn. Also what they're holding are navigational instruments and an anchor. Because in those days, this is 1932 when this building was erected, the only way to get to the African countries was by steamship and not, like today, airlines. So therefore, the trade helped these famine-ridden countries, and that's what it depicts.
Obviously, we cannot see all the rooms that Herbert J. Rouse designed. But this is the boardroom, and the boardroom is exceptional. This is Art Deco at its best, with a Greek theme, original clock, and its original 1932 fire with natural amber. Imagine all the transactions being conducted from here, the boardroom, from all around the world. But today it's quite different because it's used as a function room. You may find yourself here at a talk, but don't forget to take a look out the window because you may find a very special neighbour. Another boardroom? No, this was the dining room because they came from the boardroom and they actually dined in here. There was a lot of money in this city, a lot of it. Yeah, I think I found the right door because they're dotted all over the place. No matter where you go, you could find yourself lost. But I think I found the right way up to the roof. Found it. Now we're on the roof. We're keeping with Rouse's Greek theme, and this is a Greek colonnade, magnificent as it is. The attention for detail that Rouse puts in, even on a roof that nobody sees, and it still retains the Greek theme, Art Deco Greek theme. When we were in the boardroom, we met the next door neighbour. There's next door but one.
Lovely. Lovely.
It's an incredible building, you know. Absolutely incredible.
I know we've been looking to be in there a couple of times with yourself as well, and it's just amazing. I know Martin's Bank building has been used heavily in filming, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
It's got that statue inside and outside. Yeah.
Inside and out, you're right. And I always remember, you know, history tells us that the Liverpool Dockers, when war broke out, all the nation's gold went up to there.
Yeah.
The Dockers seen it. They went, we'll have some of that. And they tried to steal it, the Liverpool Dockers.
That's right. There was a film made about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the worst Liverpool accent you could ever muster. Great actor, lovely fella,
David
and Mr. Frost himself.
Yeah.
You know, what was his name?
David Jason.
David Jason, Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Stefan says Roscoe Memorial in the gardens of the same name is in a sad state. It's the way it goes, unfortunately. We can't do anything about it. It's up to the council. And Faster Tortoise says the UN said it was genocide. Yes, they did. They did say it.
Yeah.
And Stephen says 2 years after Starmer recognised the state of Palestine, its government demanded £2 trillion, incredible, of reparations for the 1917-48 British occupation. They won't get that.
No.
Stephen said, Holland, that is, an abolitionist today would be classed as a terrorist, and agree with Johan. Yet he would be classed as a terrorist, Steve. He would be. We're classed as terrorists for speaking out.
Yeah, extremists.
And Stephen says, I watched only one episode of Michael Palin about Venezuela on Channel 5. He kept calling Venezuela a dictatorship and kept condemning. I like Michael Palin as well. I do, but, you know, for him to, he's got a right to, he's given a script, Michael Palin. He's given a script because no matter what the Western narrative is, you've got to follow the Western narrative. And I've heard nobody come out at all about the West. Maduro, you know, he's been branded like a leader of a drug cartel that's sending drugs through to the United States. You've got big battleships, USA battleships on, you know, outside Venezuela. Trump that wanting to invade.
Yeah.
Because they want the oil, they want the gold, they want the precious stones, the mines. That's what they want, nothing else. So Maduro, an elected president, it's just shocking. And they've already got a fella in place of him, Juan Guaidó. Now Guaidó, no one knows him because they tried to put him in the last time. But Maduro won the election, hands down. So they couldn't do a regime change. Now they're threatening with violence. And there's this dope saying, like, you know, he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Now they're asking, you're not going to fucking believe this. I read today that they're asking, well, one fella came on and tweeted, would you give this man a Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize? And that's Zelensky. Zelensky, if people don't know, is a war criminal. The atrocities that his Azovs have caused is shocking. I've seen the footage. It's shocking what they've done. And they want him to get a Peace Prize, him and a warmongering president. That's shocking. You've surprised me there, Steve. I don't watch, you see, terrestrial television. And I'm very surprised that Michael Palin a good man actually, has come out and said that. But he has to follow the script. If you don't follow the script, that's the end of your career. And it's been proved time and time again.
Yeah.
Would you follow a script?
I wouldn't take the job if it was something I didn't agree with or was uncomfortable with, or someone said, what you're going to have to do is you have to tip your cap to the Tories or whatever. I'd say, no, I don't want that job. I'll sign on for a month rather than do that. But it's I watched about half an hour of Michael Palin, and me too. I love him. And it goes way back 30 years when he started this, and he was bringing us information then, rather like other travellers, Alan Wicker, and the like, that we would not get anywhere else. So I followed it, and bits of it were uncomfortable because Venezuela, the way it was shown, was kind of tinsel and money and nothing, poverty and nothing, and drug gangs ruling the streets. He was scared there. I could see that in the footage. So I probably will watch the rest of it. But yeah, it's not comfortable viewing. Not for what we used to with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And step and say, Frank, are you sure the locust was not part of the bank's? Yeah, it was. And it doubled up as a locust. It doubled up as a locust, Stephen. I do know that from a very old gentleman. When I was giving a lecture, I always forget the name of the place where. Have you heard of the Gladstone? I forget where it is. It's over on your side of the water.
Gladstone,
And I used to go there in a week. Come on.
Gladstone Theatre.
Is it no? It's a big building, and Gladstone gave it. The grandson of Gladstone, you know, the former prime minister, he gave it to the will. He said, "Yeah, I'll do something with that to his educational or whatever." And I used to get asked to go over every year and give a lecture. And he was an old gentleman. I was made up to meet this fellow. He was 90 odd. I'm going back years ago. And he knew Herbert J. Rouse, who designed the actual Martin's Bank and India building. I couldn't believe it. And he was telling me all about him. What he used to tell me was, he said, he used to go out in his car, open top, Rolls up us, or a Bentley, whatever. And he used to just drive somewhere, have a bottle of scotch or whatever, drink it, and would just sit in his car. And he waited for this constable to come on his bike and drive him home.
Oh my! I'll have to try that.
But here's the most important thing, what Steppen said. And I said, about the bear, the little insect.
Yeah.
And he said it doubled up as he said it was a grasshopper. What was it? Forget what he said it was. He said, but it had to double up because that was the signage of the bank. So, but they doubled it up. That's why they had the two little boys, African boys.
Yeah,
they had Neptune. They had the fish around that doubled up as a halo, as a Christ-like figure. And little bellies on the children because of the money and the corn. because it was just famine over there, constant famine in Africa.
Yeah.
And, you know, because of the trade with Africa. And someone said the usual, you know, you're talking 1932. And they said, oh, were they slaves? I said, no, you're talking 1932, mate. I said, you know, the slave trade ended over 120 years before us. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know what they think, these people?
Yeah.
It's just slaves all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it doubles up. And an old gentleman told me that, who knew the architect. Steppen. And he carries on by saying Palin, as many others, follows a script, but does he need to sell his soul to put money on the table? He has the choice. See, Michael Palin is known as a national treasure, but a lot of people like myself would go against him. And without mentioning any names, I even went to this very fine actors party, and he's been voted as one of the greatest actors of the country. And he just makes film after film. He's acted with the best, from Pacino to everyone he's acted with. And I'm not mentioning his name, but he advertised the Sun. And a lot of people don't talk to him, and I won't. What he did, advertising the Sun newspaper. And he's a Liverpool supporter as well. Oh, but yes, he's a great actor, which is sad. And he didn't need to do it, but he did. And it's just like Michael Palin. And Johan Frank, perhaps the puppet masters of blackmail material are most popular figures, hence why they have to follow the script from time to time. I think that's a very good shout, actually.
I think that is. There's also the thing that if you do a thing and you need it to be put in front of an audience, whether you're a singer or an actor or whatever, then you have to dance to their tune to have your thing put in front of an audience.
Well, look, I know two dictators in this world today. Two. And it's proved time and time again. And one of them is the United States president. He just dictates to everybody, even his own country, because he got in on a mission of peace. But he's not a mission of peace. It's a mission of war, to enrich the likes of Congress, who are warmongers, and the Senate, who are warmongers, the deep state, the neocons. He's just going along with them to make more money. That's why they want to invade Iran. It's the military complex. The more arms you make, the better. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the other dictator, who I just mentioned before about him getting a peace prize, he's lost 1.9 million young people. And that includes women, by the way, in his army.
Yeah.
And people, they go, well, no, the Russians are winning. The Russians are losing that many. No, they're not. They're listening to these idiots.
Yeah.
The likes of Kellogg. General Kellogg, who's fucking just sitting there telling brazen lies, and he knows it.
Yeah. It's just insane the thought that any violent act or calling for a violent act warfare should reward the caller with a peace prize.
Yeah.
Where's peace? Where's the peace?
Well, that's what I mean. Look, he could have stopped this in April 2022 when he was ready to sign this peace thing. And Joe Biden got hold of Boris Johnson, who was then the British Prime Minister, and tell him not to sign it. Because they just wanted to, they really thought that they could take down Russia, America, and Europe. They really thought that they could do it. And it's backfired immensely.
Yeah.
So we stopped it. Yeah, with him not signing that, there are 1.9 million Ukrainians not alive today, put it that way. Men and women. Men and women. Now he's dragging people off the streets. Not only is he dragging people off the streets, but he's also calling up 60-odd-year-olds, 60 plus.
Insane.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
And now he's asked the Europeans to send over, to round up any young Ukrainians and send them back to Ukraine so that they could just go bink and bink on the front line. And, you know, who knows about that? I do. I know about it. And it's shocking to think that people are saying, shall we give them a peace prize?
Why?
How can you give anyone a peace prize with all those people dead?
It's on the smaller level. What goes on in this country, if you make the biggest corrupt F-up of anything you do, they'll reward you with a knighthood. And we have our very own of those people. Not that you never sit at our dinner table.
Everybody follows the script, unfortunately. Everybody. I'll tell people to follow George Galloway. He's very good. But I do my shows on a Wednesday night. So I do a history show. And but Galloway's good. He gives it as it is. He really says it as it is. And Johan says, I'll have to put my glasses on again. Jesus. I don't know what's wrong with me glasses. My eyes are going worse, you know. Anthony.
There's one for long-sighted and one for close-up work.
Yeah, these are close-up, but I hate wearing them. Anyway, Johan said, leading them to ignore their conscience and act obedient based on purely out of survival instinct. What a comment.
Yeah.
Leading them to ignore their conscience and act obedient based purely out of survival instinct.
Yeah. That's kind of what we were talking about, people do things to have themselves looked at or their product find an audience and bigger.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Cole, I'd say the kids maybe Africa and the Americas, Caribbeans. Look at the hair. I've seen all that. They've got different hair, but because they have different hair in Africa, east and west, north and south. I do know that. Corn was not. No, I know they were bringing corn down. I give up, Stephen. Trying to fucking educate me, and I don't like that. 3 dictators. Mikalovsky keeps attacking another country every time they protest against his government. Yeah, Johan. You're right. You're so right. You're so right. It's like, say, they just want to attack Iran, and the Americans want them to as well. The Americans are complicit in everything. America is complicit in the genocide. And, you know, to be complicit in a genocide, a POTUS. And he's wanting the Peace Prize. How can that be? How can that be? And it's wrong. It's wrong. And he gets countries mixed up. Yeah, I always remember him saying about Azerbaijan and Albania. He stopped the war. Now it's Cambodia. Now he just can't get it right. So he scripted, and whoever's fucking writing his scripts are getting it wrong. This is the incompetence of his backroom staff.
Yeah.
The White House staff. That's Trump.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's funny how we know more. Do you know what? I'm wondering if any ordinary Americans have seen what Gaza looks like today. Whether the footage is shown over there. Because if they have, or if they will have seen it, wow.
Good shout, Frank. And it's certainly not. We know that there's not a great deal shown on their national news. So where are they going to find it? It's hard enough here, because you got the sugar-coated BBC,
yeah,
who own everything,
yeah,
and will say, Mr. Carlyle, if you want your programs to be heard by an audience, you behave yourself.
Well, this is why. This is why I'm afraid of like current affairs and things coming up. But what's happening when we do history like now, it applies today, and you can't ignore it. You're just getting away from it. And the likes of YouTube and every other social media platform can just ban you like that. So one day, I know that I won't be on. I know that the program will just be cut. And that'll be the end of it. No more Frank and Anthony. No more Shakespeare and Dickens and Willie Blake.
Well, of course we still will. We'll be on that park bench and we'll invite everyone down.
Having a cup of tea.
Bring your sandwiches.
Yeah. Bring our pasties.
Yeah.
That's it. That was a good show, Johan, about BB, really. Can we call von der Leyen a dictator? Of course she's a dictator. She dictates. She's an unelected bureaucrat. That's all she is. Even if she seems to ignore she is leading a non-sovereign entity, only an economic trade space. Who's put her there? It's America. America have put her there. You've got the likes of that. You've only got to look at these women. You've only got to look at the women who she picked. And she's in trouble over, the people that she's picked. She never asked for any references or whatsoever. She just said, oh, yeah, you've got the job. You've got the likes of that Kaya Kallas. If anyone hates anyone, it's her. She just hates Russia. You know, it's like asking a question if you went in for the job to von der Leyen and say, she said to you, what country do you rate in Europe? No, Russia. You've got the job.
Yeah.
You know, so von der Leyen is a dictator. So is Kaya Kallas. So is Annalena Baerbock, who's got a fucking big job at the UN. And America keep going. America, I always remember Trump a few months ago said, she's a wonderful lady. She's a wonderful lady. He goes over, humiliates her with a trade deal that's going to cost us a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money. Because inflation is going to go like that. Inflation's here now, by the way. And it's going to go like that. It's going to hit the roof, especially this winter. And when we sold off our oil and gas and everything to the Americans under Thatcher, they hiked the prices all the time. They call it British gas, but it's American gas.
Yeah.
Toscana to Stepan. She's the worst of the lot. And I'll say nothing about Starmer, as I don't want a Gestapo around my house. But let him continue as he's digging his own grave. Spot on, Toscana. He is. He's the combined, the likes of Starmer, the likes of that Merz as well, the Chancellor of Germany, and Macron. Put them all together. And their their opinion polls back in Germany, in France and here, they can't even make combined 50%. They can't make 50%. And these are ordinary people. These are like me. And that's why the great Italian Giorgia Meloni, she's gone right against it, because she's realised, whoa, because her opinion in the polls is sinking fast.
Yeah.
So now, because people in Italy, people in Germany, people in Poland, all over say, why are you giving them money? What's Ukraine to us? What have they ever done for us? That's what they're saying. They've woke up and finally said, well, they've just gone along with everything. And then all of a sudden, someone said, well, what have they done for us? Throughout, history, what have they done? What's Ukraine? Oh, that's right, yeah, they fought alongside the Nazis. Fucking hell. They finally woken up. And Johan, MAGA was all over the internet calling Biden demented, which he was, when he misspoke. But now that's their supreme leader. That's it. It's their supreme leader. They are awfully silent, yeah. And he's getting all things mixed up. I don't feel sorry for Trump. He won't allow any of the... there's that McGuffrey or whatever, Guthrie, she wrote a book and then all of a sudden she died. She was awarded $14 million or whatever it was, went to live in Australia. Why did she live in Australia? Because she was afraid of her life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she was supposed to have committed suicide and left her children without a mother. Do you believe that? She committed suicide because she had written a book, and it's not really, no one's saying anything what's in that book. All the names. It's just shocking. And they are silent, Johan. They are silent. Now, as you see the top picture there,
Yeah.
I'll tell you when that was. That was the opening of, well, it's 1863. And can you see in the background Wellington Column?
Yeah.
Well, it opens up in 1863. And the Queen came up. Or was it there? Was it the Queen? Well, anyway, someone come up and opens up all the festivities. Look at the crowd. It's fantastic, isn't it? You know, to today, the exact same picture.
Yeah.
The exact same picture.
And it's still the point where we congregate, whether it be the death of John Lennon, I remember that.
I know.
The absolute, it's the focal point for togetherness, really, the Liverpool people, for us.
Well, I had a walk this week on Friday, Thursday or Friday, and I had to get hold of the lad today, you know, for his group, and I said I can't do it. I'm awfully sorry, you know, because of the way I am now.
Yeah.
I had to get hold of him, and where I was meeting him was by the Lions. You know, the Lions.
Yeah.
Because there's so much history just around there. It's incredible. You know, the likes of the column,
Yeah.
the likes of the Corinthian columns on St. George's Hall.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez. Couldn't do it for them.
What if we get you there? If Laney and I get you there?
No, I've cancelled it. I won't be able to do it. I can't. I've gone worse.
Up and downstairs and stuff.
And my back is killing me. Back is absolutely killing me. And I'm just in constant bloody pain. And Johan says Virginia Guthrie, Epstein survivor, died days before a scheduled court case.
Yeah.
But wasn't it suicide?
No. One of her daughters, I think, has gone on record in an interview as saying that the car was forced off the road.
No, that's what I'm saying. But but they're saying, oh, go on, yeah. Now she's come out and said she would never ever committed suicide. They said at the first, they said she just went speeding. She wanted to end her life. That's what was coming out, and you just see all this nonsense that was bantered about at the time of this girl's death.
Yeah.
My tongue's killing me, you know. I've got to, I can't even go to the dentist to get this jagged tooth out. Jeez.
The dentist for 22 years.
Haven't you?
No. They all went private, and those that were left weren't taking any more people on.
Very expensive, you know, private.
Couldn't afford it, Frank. That's why we've not been, yeah.
I paid 660 quid for the thing.
I'd rather buy 2 bottles of scotch and another guitar. And then,
But my tongue is killing me because I keep going onto this jagged edge as I talk. You don't realise what movements you do with your tongue. You know, when you're just saying nothing or doing anything, your tongue roams all over. God, blimey, no mind us. Yeah, that's how we lived.
Yeah.
That's how we lived. Jesus. And people lived there.
Yeah.
You couldn't even make it up, honestly.
No.
That's around, I'd say, between 1905 and 1910. Jeez. You know, I just think about how, you know, going back, how families lived and how they brought up the children,
Yeah.
got them into school. They came out. You know, some people, I'm talking about us, you and I, to be honest, you know, our age going back when we were
Yeah.
well, we wanted educated, to be honest, wanted to be educated, and we took the right path on different excursions. I took the path I took, and you took the path you took, and we've been law-abiding.
Yeah.
We've never, you know, been in trouble with the police or anything.
No. Embrace the world. Really.
Yes.
Kind of not.
I grew up in one of the most tough areas of Liverpool.
Yeah.
What you never ever seen was police cars or police going to our houses and banging on doors. Never ever seen that.
No.
My mates, they were all tough lads. They even wanted me to bring Macbeth back to the party. And dead tough. Yet not one of them was ever in trouble with the police.
No.
Not one. They just worked, whatever they worked as. Pure, beautiful, unadulterated lads.
Yeah. Good
Just
heart,
went,
soul people. And we come from families like that. Lenny and I were talking about it today, and you know, a big pot of scouts or whatever going on. There was never did you stop and think, my mum and dad or us, we're poor. It didn't. There wasn't a vision that we had like that at all. We just went for it. Just went for life.
it's so sad, isn't it, that, you know, but I tell you what I blame today when people take the wrong path. And it was before us. No, it wasn't. It was after us. When we went, like, you know, different ways. As I said, you know, when my mates reached 20, 21, 22, they started to go out and, you know, with the girls and ended up marrying. And, you know, so they all split up. And then all of a sudden, we had this drug culture coming in. And what you've got today is the drugs.
Yeah.
And safes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. But it's easy money for young lads.
It is shocking. And you you've met our kids. You've seen our Tom.
Oh, beautiful.
Our Tom has got the same bunch of lads that he had since leaving junior school. Same bunch, 7 lads, and there's not a bit of trouble in any of them. One of the things, I totally get what you're saying then. One of the things that irritates me that we didn't really have when we were young is this consumerism.
No?
You've got to have that, you've got to have that. Look at that watch, I want that watch. Look at that, I want that, I want that. We didn't have that. We didn't have that greed. Is it greed or what? Yeah, it is greed. We didn't have that need to. There was always that element of what the old saying was, keep up with the Joneses, that in some people, but we never had that.
We always wanted the only thing that we ever wanted, though, Anthony, was a telly.
Yeah, telly.
Everyone wanted a telly, so we had a telly. And I think that's the only materialistic thing. As long as that you could go in, sit down, have something to eat for your tea, have a little bit of supper, go to bed, get up, have a little breakfast, have a little lunch, come home, have your tea again, so it's a cycle of everything. And as long as you could, like I'm talking me when I was young, as long as I could go out with me mates and bring Macbeth along, I might have gone to see an Hamlet that night, and because I said, I'll bring Hamlet along.
I'll get him a beer. Have a beer and a bag of nuts with us.
Where's that Mac fella? Did you bring him? I said, Harry didn't want to come. I couldn't be bothered.
That's just beautiful. That's fantastic.
It's a true story, It's mad, I know.
And we can't. That's the problem with life, and the problem with history is you can't dip in, dip out. The world is evolving around us, and as there's some things stay the same, which is horrific, and some things get worse, which is horrific. But the true value of life, from my angle, is preserving what you're describing, what we had. You wake up, you've got somewhere you want to go, you've got to focus what you want to do. There's always space in the house for your mates. There's always something on the cooker. And it's that.
Yeah. Yeah. And as Johan says, even in those conditions, they have better fashion sense than these modern kids.
Absolutely.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Absolutely right. I used to remember that in Lime Street. Fantastic. It's fantastic. Going through there. I remember jumping on a steam train, and the corridors, and like opening the door to go and sit down.
Yeah, I loved those trains.
Oh, fantastic. And you could smell the steam.
Yeah.
It's always in your nostrils. Absolutely brilliant. And the whistle. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Toscana says, I think the problem nowadays is that people who don't want to work want the same as people who get up every morning and graft.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head, and this is the problem.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've seen something very funny myself. And it was, you see a girl, it was only on YouTube, some things that go wrong. And you see a girl like that with, loads and loads of dollars doing that, Look at all this, loads of dollars. And then she folds them back like that. The next, a big hand comes through the car window. She was in a car and just snatches it, gets up.
Yeah. Gone.
You see, just saves you fucking right. Saves you right.
Yeah.
Those Americans are nuts, you know. It's unlike Americans. Sorry. Fucking horrible. Now look at that.
Yeah.
Abercrombie Square.
Yeah. That's a beautiful shot, that angle. Really
It
good.
is, isn't it? It is. And when you look at it, you know, you can't see it, but it's very hard to, that building, not on the right, but onto the left of the cathedral, the first, or the last two homes belong to one of the greatest engineers, and his name was James Newland, the last house.
Yeah.
And he sorted out for Dr. Duncan, William Duncan, the sewage system that was
Wow.
killing Liverpool, you know, with dysentery, typhoid, cholera.
Yeah.
James Newland.
Wow. I so remember you talking about him on the design of the sewage pipes.
Yeah, he did that and put us on a slant so that the water would come down and flush away the deposits.
Yeah.
And that was a great piece of engineering.
Yeah.
And, you know, it saved a hell of a lot. But that William Duncan was unbelievable. The first ever officer of health in the entire world. No one had it. We had him. We had it, you know, listen, we want you to sort this out. Then he got hold of that James Newland.
Yeah.
And Thomas Duncan, who designed the water tower, and he also designed the wonderful thing up in Parker Lane, which was a built reservoir so that the water could flush in.
Yeah.
Incredible what they built, the engineering.
Yeah.
And he lived there. And next door to him, I mentioned about Noel Shavas.
Yeah.
And he lived there, 19 Abercrombie Square.
Wow.
The only double VC of the First World War. There were double VCs, there's only 3. But he was the only one to get 2 in the same war. Others got them in different wars, if you know what I mean. In one war, then another war.
Yeah.
The second Victoria Cross. But he won them in the first, you know, the one war. That was the First World War. And he lived there with his family. Such a great man. And that thing in the middle of there, see, it was a private park, you know, for the people around, you know, Abercrombie Square, where there was beautiful Georgian buildings are.
Yeah.
And it was a private park for the residents. And that was where the tools were kept to keep the park clean. It's like a bandstand.
Yeah, it is. That's what it looks like, yeah.
Jason sent a message. Let's see.
Is he still in the balloon?
Is he what?
Is he still up there in the Wow.
Jason says, my daughter had her 16th birthday party at the weekend. 2 of her male friends came, both 16 years old, and both dressed in suits. One in a long overcoat and a flat cap. My expectations were shattered, thankfully. He went on to tell me that he'd been to the production of Romeo and Juliet during the afternoon. Isn't that superb?
That is superb. that brings us hope for the future.
That's fancy. And it's just like, as you know, Sophia. So Sophia's been studying Romeo and Juliet. And, yeah, that's why I'm bringing it. Hopefully I'm better by then, over to Verona to see the balcony, because she said, Grandad, can I see it?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
She said, can I go in? I said, yeah, and you can go up. You can go on the balcony. I'll take a photograph of you.
Oh. She will never, ever forget that. That will be
No.
fantastic.
It's just like what Jason said there. 2 lads who showed up at the party, both 16 years of age, dressed up, even with caps on. And one of them, or the two, I don't know, had been to see Romeo and Juliet in the afternoon. We do have people, good people, going down a path that they want to go down in. Come on. 16-year-olds going to see Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare.
Yeah. Getting smartly dressed to go to a party.
Yeah.
All of that is just great. Love it.
That lovely comment by Johan. There's the hope we needed.
That's right, Johan. Yeah, we totally agree. That's what we need.
I think Steppens fell out with me because he says he's trying to give me a history lesson. Well, I'm not fucking bothered, to be honest. I'm fucking bothered.
We're living it, and we're talking about it, and it would be wonderful to think that these young people are now starting their own life with no war going on.
No.
Just shut the fuck America up.
Yes. Yeah. Look at that.
That looks like one of our head ones, doesn't it?
It is a headman. And what you've got there, you've got St. Nick's Church, yeah?
Yeah.
You've got St. Nick's Church. But what you've got is the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the bridge is Venetian.
Yeah.
Venetian design. With lights.
Yeah.
That's how good we were.
Yeah.
And in the background, you've got a wonderful second tower building, because the tower building, the original one,
yeah,
that the Napoleonic soldiers were kept in, unfortunately, was knocked down, and that was built. Then that came down in 1907, and the third building was built, the third tower. The same fella, W. Aubrey Thomas, who designed and built the Liver building, he built both of them facing each other. But isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful, Frank. And you just answered the question I would have put then. So, I mean, that was like a wow for the people of the city then, wasn't it? Not to have the what now known as the Three Graces, but to have the Liver building built and then the new tower building. So when did you take the Venetian bridge down?
When did you take it down? Well, they decided to expand the dockside for ships.
Okay.
So they had to take it down because of more or less the liners. You know, when they were built, they were big things rather than little barges and whatever going in and out.
Yeah.
Because that was a dock.
Yeah.
That's the Langton dock there.
Yeah.
And you see that hut, you know, just on the bottom of the. Can you see it? The hut at the bottom of the steps.
Yeah.
That comes from B&Q. I'm only joking. You look at that. Is he kidding me? Oh, got to tell you. Oh, look at that.
Stoke Hotel.
Oh, you're not going to believe this. Do you see where? Hang on. Do you see where that cart is on the right? Full, you know, it's got right up.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember me telling you about, like Saturday mornings, we used to go down there, you know, as younger lads,
Yes.
and the bananas.
Yeah.
That was the fucking banana thing.
Oh my word.
Because they used to come pile up like that. Not like tomatoes where, you know, you get a few, or apples, they were like that, piles up.
Wow.
And exactly where the place that I used to unload. And that's where I seen that fucking big monster of a spider. and we all ran away.
Oh man.
We all ran away.
Oh. Even that, to have that now. Laney's nan used to work in Stoke Hotel. And I not that I remember seeing it, but I think it was up there when I was young. And we did one of your shows one week, and a lot of our wonderful chat were talking about the boozer that was just there, the Magic Clock.
Yeah.
Famous pub.
Yeah, well, the Magic Clock was right facing where that cart is on the opposite side, right facing it, where the photograph was taken on this side.
Okay.
It was the Magic Clock. It was, yeah, it was the Magic Clock. But it was gay bar.
Okay.
It was a well-known gay bar. Do you fancy going on the Magic Clock? No, fuck off, you can go. Not going there. You know, with a big gruff voice, that is.
You know what?
But what memories that is, the Stoke Hotel.
Oh, Frank.
Fantastic.
So many stories I've heard all my life about that, yeah.
But you see that little tower at the back?
Yes.
Like a French tower.
Yeah.
Well, that particular tower, that's the building, you know, the whole of the building that Dr. Duncan's is in, St. John's Lane.
Wow, so that's the pub now.
Yeah, that's the pub now, yeah. That's the pub. Well, how about that tonight then?
Wonderful way to end it with you and your bananas, but no spider.
I couldn't believe it when he put that up. Never even seen that.
That's brilliant.
Well, that's what it used to come in, like these fucking bananas.
You know what? I since we've been talking, since you've been doing the shows, I do this thing, and when I'm waking up in the middle of the night or whatever, I'm kind of half dreaming about a walk. And this morning, it wasn't this side of town, but I was walking through Chinatown.
Oh.
That we know it now, and thinking, when did this originate? No, when did it come about?
Chinatown.
Yeah.
1824-6.
Was he?
Yeah, that's when the Chinese came. The first in Europe. and they just loved it. They just said, because they were on the way to America, like a lot of other immigrants. So they decided they were the first ethnic minority in Liverpool.
I loved it. Going back 40 years, I used to love walking through Chinatown. And the nice thing about it now is that there's a bit more life going on by what used to be Kane's Brewery. It's like the Kane's Quarter now. There's all sorts of stuff there for us guys and certainly the younger people in town. So it's all kind of joining up again, isn't it?
Yes.
No.
Everything is knitting together.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is nice.
It is nice. And like Johan said before, like that thing does give us hope for the future.
That was a cracking comment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A really good
bang on right. Yeah.
You know, it does give us something for the future, especially. I'm so proud of my little granddaughter, Sophia. You know, she plays the piano, she can read music. It's everything. Oh, yeah, this Pakung Chan. There's a new street market on Nelson Street, Chinatown. Oh, go away.
Wow.
Street market, that'll be fantastic. They'll be selling everything.
Yeah.
You know, the likes of all the Chinese foods. And, you know, I wonder if it's like not just selling packets of whatever, but it's also, do you think there'll be street food, you know, being cooked like they have in Thailand and places? And
that was a big buzz about walking through Chinatown, the smell of the restaurants.
Oh.
Wow. I used to work where I met Laney. It was on a place on Mill Street. So I used to get off the train, Central Station, walk through Chinatown and walk to Mill Street. And in Chinatown, there was a beautiful shop. You couldn't call it an art shop, but it had prints and the old-fashioned blocks of ink that you used to have to put water on to thin them down. And I used to spend hours in there. Used to get, into all sorts of trouble. I get into work and it'd say, you're 6 hours late. We finish in half an hour. I just loved this shop. I loved it.
Well, as Pac says, yes, probably will be street food.
Yeah, beautiful.
Do you know what, Pac? I wish I could have been there or could be there. I wish I could. I just can't.
Sunday,
yeah. That would be fantastic.
What we can do.
I can't even. I tell you what, though, I might take you up on it, but it's wherever there's parks. I won't be able to walk that far.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't. I really can't. And it's so full of history around there. Nelson Street, you've got the Big Blackie.
Yes.
You know, that beautiful building. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, by saying about this. But I wonder if Pac will agree with me. It looks totally out of place. It should be where the neoclassical buildings are. Because it's a neoclassical building, the Blackie. Fantastic.
Oh, the Blackie, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gave a talk, and I never had a fucking clue who these people were. So they invited me down to give a talk, and I didn't know it. And you knew they were? Mother Earth. And all this, I was going on about the buildings. I was going on about the Chinese community. And when I started talking about the building, I said, you take this, for example, this beautiful building that we're in. And they all started moaning at me. They said, this is Mother Earth. We're digging up the treasures to build the treasures of Mother Earth, to build these monstrosities. Fucking
Oh my God.
Oh, it was the worst thing. Because I was older, this fella. I said, why the fuck did you tell me who you were? He said, because you're a good speaker.
You could have given a whole talk on cabbage, growing cauliflowers.
And grass. And grass.
Forgive my lack of respect.
Johan. Frank, for a while, I was worried Sophia might be right about us getting relegated. She's got decent foot. Do you know what she was watching tonight, Johan? Her mother rang me up just before the show. That's why I was a couple of minutes late. She was watching the Ballon d'Or. Watching the Ballon d'Or. I said, go away. She says, yeah, Virgil came just now, 23rd or something. I said, oh, okay. Ballon d'Or. Oh, the beautiful Bella. He's a lot better now, thank God. Buonanotte, Franco and Anthony and everyone. Grazie for a wonderful night of history. Oh, thank you, Bella. No, thank you.
Glad to hear you're feeling better.
Yeah, she must be. She must be to listen to me and you.
No one gets a choice with us.
And Johan.
They didn't do that balloon thing, Frank.
Isn't that lovely? Look at what Johan said. You know, Bella, buonanotte, Bella. Take care and prayers.
Yeah, that's hope for the future too, all of our little chatters.
And tomorrow night, you football fans, and I'll be doing a bloody watch along. I'll be doing a pre-match. So I'll be coming on half an hour before. No, 3/4 of an hour before the kickoff. Say it's at 8 o'clock kickoff. I'm just saying, I haven't a clue. I'll be coming on 7:15. And then I'll do the watch along, then a pre-match. Post-match, I'm sorry. And the lovely Bella to Johan. Buonanotte. Isn't that lovely?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, look at that, look. I knew he'd put something up like that. See, he's trying to fight.
And that's how I met Frank Carlyle. Just the spiders who was made.
Honestly, I opened the box was loose. You know, the lid rather was. Now we always took a bunch of grapes, not a bunch of grapes, a bunch of bananas. We always got a bunch of bananas anyway, you know, to bring home.
Yeah.
So this was loose. So I left a fucking big thing, like the big hairy thing.
Jesus.
And I screamed. Ah! And we all ran away. Shut the lids.
About 20 years to live that one down.
Oh, Jesus. It's horrible. I've never seen anything like it. I've only seen little spiders in the house. You know, like our little spiders, if you know what I mean. I remember telling Jason, you know, I said, I seen a spider, because his lad is an entomologist.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Caleb. Anyway, I was telling him about the spider. Jason, that is, not Caleb. I said, hey, Jason, I said, I seen a spider in my bathroom. I said, it's got a little head, just a little, like a little body, and big long legs, like spidery legs. And he said, enough of them, if they get on you, could kill you. And I went, thanks, Jason. Thanks for that.
You'd never get a bath again in your life.
Oh, your one's laughing his little head off at Jason. And Paxley sounds like a tarantula. It was a big. It's wherever they have bananas. I think they came from the Caribbean. The bananas.
Yeah.
And I haven't a clue what kind of bananas they are. I mean, what kind of spiders they are. But there was a fucking big hairy thing, and I mean, loads of hair and big eyes. You know the way you see the eyes. Listen to him, Tazzy Longlegs. Wasn't it Tazzy Longlegs? What I shot? Oh, Jesus. I just hope I don't have nightmares now. But anyway, mister. Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the history of literature.
Yeah.
We don't mind that, do we?
We love that.
Yes.
My interests have been stirred by lots of things on one particular subject. Unbeknown to me till today, that our beloved William Roscoe wrote about this guy, and one of the first poets, translator, wonderful person, and I'll drop his name in the pot on Wednesday when we meet.
Okay.
If I may.
And do you know what the first detective novel was written?
Yeah. Do you want me to say that more?
What?
Well, the first classified detective story was Edgar Allan Poe's Murder at the Rue Morgue, where the culprit...
What's on? Look. Wilkie Collins. And I've got it here. And I'll give you it if you want it. It's called The Moonstone.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you it when I see you.
Yeah.
I've got it right there. I can't put my fucking thing on it. I wish I did. It's called The Moonstone. Wilkie Collins.
Wow.
You can't. You've already given it to me. Says, I'm sorry, I can't give you it. Oh, that's
Well,
that's what I was looking like. How about that?
Fantastic.
I really thought that he, said clever was Jason when he said Wilkie Collins.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got the Moonstone there, give you it. And he goes, no, well, as you can, you give it on, as he giving it to me.
Good. Well, I'll track it down. The Moonstone is the. Was it a book or a short story, Frank?
No, it was a proper novel.
Yeah.
So, I tell you, Jason, do you know on Wednesday, would you take a picture of it? Because it's quite long, and put it up for us on, the Moonstone to show Anthony on Wednesday.
Okay. So have you got a
look? And he said, we'll take a pic. Thanks, Jay, mate. Thanks.
Well,
He's great, him, isn't he? Oh, Johan says, thank you, Frank, Anthony, Jason, and Legends for another brilliant show. Good luck for the match tomorrow. See you, Legends, before the watch along. Sure. Going to read The Signal Man before bed tonight.
Yeah.
Johan, I made up you're going to read that, but also read, please read Mr. Loveday's little outing, the next one.
Yeah.
Mr. Loveday's little outing.
That's Evelyn Waugh, isn't it?
Yeah, I highly recommend it, the two of them.
Yeah.
Honestly. Highly recommend it, Johan. But you will enjoy The Signal Man. The Great Dickens.
Yeah.
The Great Dickens. What was Jason like putting that fucking spider on? Listen to him look as well. I had read it before you gave it to me. He actually read The Moonstone. I didn't know that.
He's a writer. Or Jason, or
Yeah.
Frank out there, or Jason is a writer. Wonderful.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Love it.
So I'll show the people the cover of it when Jason will put it up.
Yeah.
The Moonstone. First, and do you know Wilkie Collins was a mate of?
Who?
Mid-19th century.
Author?
The author. One of us who we love. There's only one.
Go on. Put me
No,
on.
I'm not fucking telling you. Who's the greatest descriptive writer of the 19th century?
Mr. Dickens, I believe.
Yes. Great mates with him.
Okay.
And he actually put him in A Christmas Carol. When he was asking, but he called him Mr. Wilkes. And he was asking him for money, you know, and he said, your wife never asked me for money. It was you. Why should she go to jail? But he said, will you give me time to pay? Mr. Scrooge. His name was Mr. Wilkie. He put him in it. Yeah, look, he met Dickens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how Johan was getting it, see, he was getting it.
Dickens. Yeah.
Johan. Thanks for another interesting show, Frank, Anthony, Jason. Why don't you get a wheelchair to help you around? Frank, like Ironside. Yeah. Lots of people have been saying that. I could have had our young James, he put photographs up. He said, hey, Uncle Frank, do you want this? And it was one of those scooters, you know, like you sit on. You know what you sit? And I thought, fucking hell, no. I think I'll be finished. That'll be the end of me because I'm still waiting, as you know, Anthony and Pac, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a very long time to have this physio on me.
Yeah.
But I'm like a rusty cog, unfortunately. I'm like a rusty cog. And it's shocking. I need oiling. I know it's just an analogy, but I need oiling. And it's the physio people who help me.
Yeah.
To oil the cog so I can start moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try acupuncture, perhaps. I've been to an acupuncturist, you know, Pat. I went up to Crosby once. I was just lying there, you know, and he's sticking needles in me, you know, when I broke my neck to relieve the pain. And he was, you know, it did help, actually. But, you know, I'm not getting away from it. It did help. It did help. But you try anything, don't you, when you're in pain?
Well,
but whether it'll help me, you know, like physio, I really need the physio, Pac, honestly. And I've been waiting for 3.5 years, and I thought it was 2. It's not. 3.5. I've been for my MRI twice.
Yeah.
I said, did you lose the first lot of notes, medical notes? He said, no. I said, well, why haven't it been sent for? He said, well, then this time, some people are priorities. And I went, oh, okay. So that's me. But I've got to get fit for next May.
Yeah.
Just try to keep on smiling.
Yeah. You do.
I'm going to give you the ring.
Yeah.
After that, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the ring. Is that okay?
That's cool. Yeah, I'll do the same thing, yeah.
You're not going to fucking answer me because the last time you never answered me.
Oh, you didn't ring till 4:45 in the morning. I was asleep by the
Fucking liar.
No, I'm awake now. See, I'm awake now. So
All right, mate. But I will. I'll give you a bell.
that's fab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. And on that note, ladies and gents, thank you for joining me tonight and keeping. And that was how I met Frank Carlyle. What did he? Do you know the fella who directed that picture, Peter Atkins, wanted me to be in that film?
Playing that part?
No, fuck off. No, not playing that part. He just said you wanted he said you're ideal for a part because I used to play badminton with his son-in-law, brother-in-law.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic. You know, the author of that is the Scouser.
Yeah, he is. Well, Clive Barker, well, he's his mate.
Yeah.
And he said, I want you to write the screenplay. So we said, okay. And do you know where when he asked them, you're not going to believe this, where he asked them to write the screenplay, they phoned him up. And anyway, he was brought there, Beverly Hills somewhere. And when he went in, he didn't know whose mansion it was. But it turns out to be Francis Ford Coppola's house. And who was sitting there was Al Pacino.
Wow.
And, Clive Barker. Because I'll tell you what was happening at the time. He sent for Clive, Francis Ford Coppola. And he said, I want to do this. You know, like that film.
Yeah, Hellraiser. Yeah.
And he said, when? He said, well, I'm actually in the process now of going in production with Dracula. You know, with Gary Oldman.
Yeah, yeah.
A great film, that. Brilliant. And anyway, he said, I can't. I've got to get it done now. He said, I can't wait months. Can't wait till next year. And so he said, okay. He met Al Pacino. And he said he was a lovely man, Al Pacino. But Stephen Graham told me that Al Pacino was a great fella as well.
Yeah.
And De Niro, by the way. He said two great fellas. And Pesci. Yeah. But anyway, Johan says, Jason is embracing the meme culture. I see.
It's great to have the three of us on together.
But honestly, I'll tell you when it was on a Christmas Day. And I always went, to my mother-in-law's then for my Christmas dinner. We always went for a drink, in the Arkles.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where he was, with, his brother-in-law, who I always played badminton with. And he said, Frank, I want you to meet someone. So I went over and shook his hand, and he said, sit down. He said, what's your name? So. And then later on, when I was mingling around, seeing other people, shaking hands and kissing the girls and shaking the hands of the fellas. And he called me over. He said, have you heard of Clive Barker? I said, yeah, the author. He said, we're doing a film. He said, and you would be ideal in it. He said, I've been looking at you. He said, and you would be ideal. Do you want the part? And I thought he was messing. Until I seen Mark a couple of weeks later playing badminton. He said, are you going to do that? I said, do what? He said, be in that film. I said, no. He said, I can't fucking do that. There's no way I can do that. You wouldn't believe that, though, would you? It's crazy, I know. Sounds crazy.
I would believe it, because that's how it happens. You fitted exactly what they're looking for. Oh, man.
But he was writing the screenplay. So he must have been I'm not just saying because it's me, but he must have seen me and he must have been thinking of a part. I think it fucking be ideal for that. Yeah. For that part.
Yeah.
I always remember him saying, can you act? I said, I couldn't act a goat, to be honest. And he was laughing. He laughed his head off. Then Mark said a few weeks later, a couple of weeks, playing badminton, he said, do you want to do that? I said, no. Well, anyway, mister, I'll see you on Wednesday. To all the lads, thanks for the, the little thing there, Pac, about the acupuncture. Thanks for that. And Johan, thanks. Everyone, thanks for joining my great friend Anthony and myself to keep us company and to swear and shout and everything else. But we had a laugh, didn't we?
We did.
Fucking Jason on the spies as well. He can keep that. That's for sure. I'll see some of you tomorrow. Mille grazie. Buonanotte. Ciao tutti.